Hi Vince, this is a quick video to explain the changes coming up in the rule builder we're working on at the moment. Now that probably won't come into July, but the reason why we need these is because we're changing the behavior for universal forms. Now what's happening is a rule might need to go off in a query for some data, so like it might grab your current user login, go away and then find out your position, your title, your manager, phone number, whatever it might be. Now a rule executes and just finishes, where what we need is a rule to go and execute something and wait and then come back based on an event. So now our rules are becoming a lot more event based. So this is current state. This is what Pepsi would be working on. So I've got a yes, no, and an email control here. So my rule just says here on form submit, it says check the email. So if the email contains an text and the yes, no is yes, then it's going to show a validation message. So if I go to preview, tick that, and I put ewan.gamble at nintex.com, then I press submit, it's going to show me an error. Now I untick that, it's still going to show me an error, even though it's not actually true. So it's a little bit weird, because once I untick that, it should be valid, and that's a sort of weird scenario. Now if we come across to the same example here, so I've got my form load rule, email contains an text and yes, no is yes, then show an error. Now this is the new rules engine, so if I click on this and I put ewan.gamble at nintex.com, press submit, now it's going to show an error. Now if I turn this off, that rule is executing not because of the submit button click, but because it's actually validating those two controls together. So that's one of the changes. Now the other change is around how form load rules work. So we'll go back to the old one. So if I go, let's say set checkbox. So if the yes no control is no, then it's going to set the yes no to yes. Value is true. So we're going to create that rule. Now if we look at it, it's actually set to no, so its default value is no. But if I load it, it's still going to be no, like that. Now if I go to the new one, same example, same rule, not a form load rule but an input rule. So I come in here and I say check the box. If I say if yes no is no, then the yes no is value of true. Go and create that rule. We'll go and check the design and make sure this default value is oh, there we go, it's changed slightly as well. So here's the state of that one. Is it? Oh, well, I got that wrong. Oops, I've clicked the wrong one. So no, and that one is no. Oh, there we go. Sorry, looking at the wrong control. So it's definitely no. I load it though, it's already ticked because that rule is executing, pretty much validating when the form loads. So it looks like we're probably going to find that form load rules don't have a future, because we can kind of set up all the form throughout the input rules anyway, so we still haven't quite got a position there. But the thing is important here is rules kind of happen at all sorts of events. Now if I come across to the Pepsi form, there is some bugs that we've found which is a little bit weird. So if we go to preview, now what we see here is this is our new version of the rule builder. So if I go click in space, customer did not qualify, and that's because of this rule down the bottom. I think it's well, so they're using inverse rules as well, so I'd probably say we should recommend actually putting the inverse rules in as well, because they've got one for show and then one for hide, and realistically it's not very efficient because it's got to run through all these twice, whereas an else condition is a lot more efficient. Now this is if it's greater than 800, that's all fine. If it's less than 800, which is in this rule here, less than 800 empty, then it's actually checking this box. Now it doesn't seem like it ever unchecks this box. So if I come to preview, I come to here and check the box. If I come back to here and I put 5,000, it still hasn't unchecked that box, which is a little bit weird. If I go back and forward, I go 5,000 and then I go here, Okay, I'm not sure. But so there's a bit of a bug there, but something to keep in mind around the rule changes. Now, we're going to have to think about how we actually position this to Pepsi and what updates they're going to have to make to their forms. So we're going to keep thinking about it, but I just wanted to give you a heads up around the rule changes and what's happening. But we're not probably going to release these until July. So I'll have a chat to Wadil and we'll set up a call next week to go through this and figure out how we move forward with Pepsi. Cheers.